This week, we provide a salmon update as the commercial fishery for Alaska's summer salmon season really gets underway. Although the famous Copper River salmon fishery kicked off around the end of May, Alaska's summer salmon season doesn't really get underway until mid-June, and the start of this year's season trailed just behind the pace of last season. However, as we roll past calendar week 25, overall landings have caught up and are surpassing the pace of last year. For sockeye, landings are above the levels they were in 2020, indicating that the run is coming in and on time. Fresh sockeye offers are currently seen priced lower than the same time last year, so now is a really good time to buy. We should not see many or any large volume frozen sockeye in Seattle until around mid-August. There is a very small amount of Russian frozen sockeye fillets floating around the marketplace.
From the pristine waters of Alaska to the seafood aisles, every time you purchase sustainably harvested Sinbad products, you are supporting the livelihood of hard-working Americans. From the committed fishermen on the boats, the high-level processors, and diligent inspectors, to the far-reaching freight crews all around the country, Sinbad Platinum Ultra is caught in America, processed in America, and sold in America. With a wide variety of flavors to choose from and conveniently effortless to prepare, we've made it simple to share the perfect seafood experience.
Moving on to chum salmon, and current harvest totals are indicating that landings are trending in a good direction. This run should come in steady over the next 12 weeks, with the harvest peaking between calendar week 29 to 31. Expect chum salmon pricing to be significantly higher than last season, with many processors using their catch for their own internal use for fillets or portions. Last year, chum salmon inventories were extremely short, and the same supply shortage should be anticipated this year, as the forecast of chums is the same as the low harvest seen in 2015. For pink salmon, as landings are starting to come, it's anyone's guess where it will end up. However, this year, Alaska is forecasted to produce 124 million pinks compared to a harvest of 60 million last year. Expect prices to be high, as the run doesn't typically peak until calendar week 32 to 34. We suspect most suppliers will be hesitant to commit to headed and gutted pinks, as well as chums, until the run starts to show and increase. Our recommendation echoes last week, and that is to get your salmon request into your Tradex Foods representative now. Salmon will be higher in demand than last year, and as such, expect inventories to be already pre-sold or tight and prices to trend upwards. And lastly, we would like to spotlight the pilot episode of the BBR SDA Waypoints radio show on KDLG Radio, featuring BBR SDA Executive Director Andy Wink as host, BBR SDA President Michael Jackson representing the fleet, and our very own Tradex Foods President and CEO Rob Ryerson. In this pilot episode, they discuss where the market is right now for Bristol Bay sockeye and how the Bristol Bay Regional Seafood Development Association and the fleet can work together to pursue the mission of making the fishery as valuable as possible. We will end our episode off with a few clips from the radio show, but we will provide a link below this video to listen to the full KDLG segment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BBRSDA Waypoints radio show. This is our first episode of what is going to be a regular series of in-season updates on KDLG Radio. And with us is Rob Ryerson.
One of the factors that's really interesting this year that we're finding is we have multiple container commitments into the retail and food service, but mostly retail, for fillets. I haven't seen it that aggressive before. I've never seen where people are booking based on, we still haven't set a price, we still haven't set quantities. But I think in a minimum with our company, we're multiple containers of sockeye fillets, more specifically. I see a lot of activity in the smoking area where people are, so European smokers that we talk to are saying that their supply, that they were oversupplied still last year, all of a sudden their supply is gone. And so there's a lot more inquiry and aggressiveness towards the product, which in my opinion will be good for the fishermen, definitely in the long run, and for the overall sales of the product. So hopefully I answered your question right there, but for what happened last year and what happened this year are going to be two different things. And I think volume is going to be the issue. I think volume is going to be, can we supply enough? I mean, we're talking very large retailers that are looking at already putting ads on from whatever last year's supply was still available to the new year. And that's going to eat up supply. And you're right, the consumer's buying it. I've never seen such activity like I'm seeing right now. And pinks and chums, I mean, pinks are going to be, it's going to be the Wild West, I believe. Who knows what's going to happen there. If they come in like they're supposed to, there's going to be an awful lot of pink salmon. Can the market absorb that? Absolutely. The guys who advertise salmon and don't put a species on it, whether it's in their retail packaging, whether it's on their menu, they'll flip and flop, and they need that option, a lot of them. And I've actually seen companies that are large chum large chum buyers request pinks this year, only pinks. So they're anticipating a lesser price. I'm hearing prices kicking around already. I've seen some high prices, I've seen some medium prices, but it's too early to determine, I think, for commitments. And as far as chums, I think my personal opinion is chums got hurt last year. They got hurt relatively bad, and they got hurt with no supply and high demand. And then once the high demand's not met, they go to another product. And an example was pinks. You know, we shipped multiple portioned pink portions out, way more than we shipped at chums. Obviously, there was no chums to ship, but now those consumers have a flavor for it. So, you know, I think it affected the overall chum. Is there going to be enough for people to purchase? Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be your chum buyers. I got a feeling the prices are going to be high this year. And every rumor that I hear, they're going to be high this year. So, you know, that's good for the fishermen, for sure. I don't know what the market will bear on a chum. And as you know, Andy and MJ, you might know as well, when your chums compete with farmed Atlantics on day in and day out. Atlantics have been on the rise as well, but they compete together, and all it needs is for somebody to pull the plug on a farmed Atlantic ad, and that sends things south real fast.
If you are not already, be sure to subscribe to our 3-Minute Market Insight using the sign-up form below to keep tuned in to all upcoming market insights. Thank you for joining me for the Tradex Foods 3-Minute Market Insight. This has been Kyla Hayward reminding you to stay safe, buy smart, and eat more seafood.